Hello from a sunny Dublin, and I say sunny because that is noteworthy because it has been raining, I think, every day for the last couple of months, probably every day this year. So fingers crossed we get a day without those horrible storm clouds coming in. And the great thing is that Aston Villa can't ruin the day because they're done. That's happened last night. It's over and done with. They may have ruined the Friday night, but not the Saturday. So here's the thing. I met up with a few friends last night, a few of my old school friends, to watch the match. There was a Man United fan, a Liverpool fan and an Arsenal fan, and then I got into a really good conversation at the bar with a Man United fan as well. And it's interesting, I just thought I'd bring their perspective because they watched the game with me and they're not telling the story of this side in free fall that many other Villa podcasters or the Villa media or everyone on social media is saying. And I realise people are disappointed and frustrated. But for them, they saw a side in Villa that was in control in the first half, but just didn't have enough to break down Wolves' low block. And they all said at half-time, you need to get a bit more direct. You need to get Tammy Abraham on there, trying to go through the middle, and Wolves are just managing to stop everything. Going out wide isn't working. We had the two Man United fans both separately said to me, Sancho is useless. And don't fall for it if he improves towards the back end of the season. He always does this, apparently. So they were delighted he was going to be leaving their books soon, and they suggested that we would be better off spending our money, our limited resources, on someone else. I suppose then the second half, what happened is that, we conceded the goal to Wolves, constant little slip. Emi Martinez just misjudged it again. They all thought, Emi Martinez is dreadful this year. And I was trying to point out, well, actually, no, you probably only see in your highlights packages the odd mistake that he's made, which he has made a few mistakes, but he's been ever present this season. He's made a lot of very good saves. But it's just interesting the way the narrative is out there that Martinez has passed it. And of course, the United fans are not only happy that they didn't sign Martinez, even though I think he'd be doing a good job for them, delighted they didn't sign Ollie Watkins. They told me that Amaran really did want him. And that is a problem for Villa, and it's a problem because he's not at the level he was. He's not as prolific as he has been. It's a real drop-off this season, and that's probably going to continue now. I've been hoping he'll turn it around, but it's just not happening. So, okay, we've lost Kamara as a DM, which is problematic, but we're not leaking goals. We do miss him, but we're not, losing, by 3 goals per game. We're losing by 1. But going forward, trying to unlock this defence, trying to unlock this low block that the other teams are putting up, it's really, really unfortunate that Ollie is not in the form he used to be, and we're missing Tielemans, kind of the playmaker, and then McGinn just for his, runs and causing problems, and even then the leadership qualities that he brings if we do go a goal down, because plenty of times during the year we've come back from losing positions to get points. I think it's 19 points I saw flash up on the screen last night, but we just miss that leadership. And I just wonder now, Will probably kick me off the show, but I just wonder if Tyrone Mings was on the pitch, would he have maybe filled that gap when we need just someone to steady the ship? So lots of things put together caused us to lose to Wolves. Again, the Liverpool fan, he does not think that Liverpool are going to be overtaking us in a couple of weeks, so maybe we need to stop panicking there. They've been very patchy and inconsistent. And then, look, there's a big game tomorrow between Arsenal and Chelsea. Because if Chelsea drop points, then there's, a big game. Big game on Wednesday. But look, I'm sure myself, Will and Baz will be back to you before then. So just to reflect on the Wolves game, yeah, very disappointing. I get it. But it's just interesting when I watch the game with others. They thought Villa dominant in the first half. Just couldn't break through the low block. And then it just didn't happen in the second. Game changed when Wolves got the goal and we became a bit more desperate, playing with a bit of tension rather than free-flowing. What I would say is they all said at half-time, you need to get a bit more direct, get Tammy Abraham in there, go with 2 up front. Everyone agreed, and it didn't happen. Didn't happen until we were losing. But then we just didn't really put together a good bit of play. It was chasing the game. I know the conditions were poor, which made it difficult. But Wolves managed to hold strong. And of course, they probably had an extra little incentive because it was, the local derby, and probably encouraged that they have a good record against us. We have struggled in Molineux over the years. I think we won during the COVID year 2020, but before that, we have to go back to when a certain Robbie Keane scored a brace for us. Yes, forgot he played for us. Back under Alex McLeish of all people, 2012. So if you're looking for when we've gone there in front of a full stadium, it's what year are we now? So it's 14 years, wow, since we've actually won there. So in hindsight, not a huge shock. So what I'd say, judging on the kind of insights I've got from my friends, no time to panic. We're not in disarray. We're just not getting the wins, and hopefully that changes. Anyway, we'll talk more about the Chelsea game a bit later on the week. For everyone else, enjoy your day. I hope to get out and get that sunshine and have a nice evening. Cheers, Tan, up the villa, as Will would say.
Well, it's the end of the world as we know it. However, I'm currently out walking in Uffmore, not too far from Hagley, Halesowen, and the skies are blue. You can see that the sun is about. There's a babbling brook which you can hear probably in the background, and yep, the world isn't over. It hasn't ended. Last night, in hindsight, at the time, at the point of reaction, in the heat of the moment, Noel Gallagher quote there ahead of his Brit Award later on tonight, it wasn't great. There were a lot of this. Emery's taken us as far as he can. Emery hasn't taken us as far as he can. Emery had a tough summer. The signings that we brought in weren't the ones that he necessarily wanted. So there was those struggles there. He's had to try and rectify that in January. And the best way for him to do it is to bring people in who know the club, know the system, want to play for the club. Dougie Luiz has come in at a time when he could really do with Boubacar Kamara next to him. He's not a Boubacar Kamara replacement. We need to be looking at those players who are getting that bit older and shouldn't be in the starting 11 unless we've got injuries or there's a lot of matches and they can rotate against weaker teams. For me, those players include Luca Din, Emi Buendia, Tyrone Mings, and now Ollie Watkins. Watkins had a glorious chance in the first half when we were on top, along with Douglas Luiz's chance and Pau Torres' header. Ollie Watkins is so lacking in confidence at the moment. He needs to be rested, and I dare say not brought on for a few games unless we're winning by a few goals. Apart from that, do you put him out on the left and put Tammy through the middle with Morgan Rogers in the can? Where's Morgan Rogers' best position? There are a lot of questions after this game. One of them being who should be our starting centre mids, and are we about to slide away, or is this all part of the master plan? Well, for me, I would be having Pau Torres and Ian Martson as our first choice defenders alongside Konsa and Cash. You have to consider whether Ezri Konsa is the right leader in the absence of John McGinn. For me, it wouldn't be Tyrone Mings because I wouldn't be starting him. I'd actually be looking again at Emi Martinez. He's world class. He's a winner. We know that. Yes, there's been talk about him leaving, but he's had a very good season this year. But let's get back to that midfield. And I think at the moment, with games coming up against Chelsea at home, Lille away, Man United away, and then Lille at home, it's time to put Bogard in. Bogard? What on earth are you going on about? Nothing about football. Well, I think I know a little bit about football, and Bogard is the most natural replacement for Kamara. We need that centre mid who can break things up, who can drop into the back three and can allow the person next to him to attack. Onana played brilliantly alongside Kamara. He's our box to box. He needs to be in there. And in front of them, it was Tielemans when we were at our best, with McGinn out wide. So, who's closest to Tielemans in what we've got? Is it Ross Barkley? Is it Dougie Louise? Well, Dougie Louise has been brought back for a reason, and Ross Barkley can't last 90 minutes. So, for me, Dougie Louise comes into the cam. He can drop into a midfield three when we need, and we can just go that little bit more defensive 4-1-4-1, if you like. Rodgers out on the left and out on the right. Jadon Sancho has to really be the one that we go with, but if Unai isn't going to be keeping him, and until John McGinn comes back, we need a left-footed right winger. From the cameos that he's shown us so far, then why couldn't that be Alisson? Alisson out there, and up front, of course, it's time that Tammy Abraham came in. So for me against Chelsea, Martinez captain, Cash Concert, Pau, Martin, Bogard and Onana, Alisson, Dougie, Rodgers behind Abraham. I'm not worried that we're going to slide away. I'm not worried that we've hit a brick wonder wall, and I don't think it's time to look back in anger yet. We will get through this. We will turn the tide. We have to get behind the team. We have to stay positive. We had a bad start to the season. Our start to the season was worse than the current form that we're in. We have picked up points and wins. We only picked up a few random draws at the start of the season. So let's get behind the lads starting Wednesday. Give them our full support, because there's no reason we can't beat Liam Rossini's Chelsea at home. We'll have more on that later on in the weeks, but let us know your thoughts. What should that starting 11 be? And is Ezri Konsa the right man to captain the club in McGinn's absence? Cheers, Tar. Thank you very much. Up the Villa.